how to configure NodeJS in Jenkins. You might have numerous Node.js applications within your environment. That also means, more than likely, you're needing to support numerous versions of Node.js. In this video, I'm going to show you how to simply and easily manage those different versions of Node.js for use within your Jenkins pipeline. Here's today's starting point. I have a Jenkins LTS controller. It's version 2.319.2. And attached to this controller, I have a Linux-based agent. The first thing that we're going to need to do is to install the Node.js plugin. So let's go to Manage Jenkins, Manage Plugins. We'll go to Available, and we will search for Node.js. So let's go ahead and select this plugin, click on Download Now and Install After Restart. And then finally, we will click on Restart Jenkins. So now that we've done our restart, let's go over to our global tool configuration and let's set up our version for Node.js. So global tool configuration. Let's scroll down to the Node.js section. So we'll say Add Node.js. By default, it gives you the ability to install directly from nodejs.org. And let's use this for our very first example. So it's offering to us 17.3.1. Now we could pick any of these other versions, but I want the latest version for right now. So for the name, I'm going to say 17.3.1. I'm going to leave all of the other defaults in place here, not making any changes. So let's go ahead and click on Save. And then let's go create a new job to test out using that version of Node.js. So I'm going to say test Node.js. Click on Pipeline and click on OK. And let's go ahead and scroll down to the bottom and let me paste in our sample pipeline. What we have here is we are specifying a specific version of the tool, which is Node.js 17.3.1. That 17.3.1 is the name we just gave that configuration. And then we're just going to run npm version to validate that that is the version that is available when I run this command. So let's go ahead and click on Save. And then click on Build Now. As the job starts up, what we're going to see is that it is going to download 17.3.1 from Node.js, and then it's installing it into the tools directory within our agent, which is in Home Vagrant agent. So we'll give this just a moment to finish installing because it's downloading and extracting. And then once this completes, when it ran npm version, we can see here that npm is 830. Don't really care about that. What I care about is Node, which is 17.3.1. Next up, let's assume for a moment that I've installed a version of Node.js on my agent. All I've done is I've downloaded maybe the zip file or the tar.gz, and I've just extracted it out on the agent. I need to tell Jenkins where that extracted Node.js directory is. So let's go back over to Dashboard. Let's click on Manage Jenkins, Global Tool Configuration. Let's go down to Node.js. Let's click on Add Node.js right here at the top. And I'm going to uncheck Install Automatically because it's already installed on that agent. The location where it's living right now is in OpTools Node.js 16.13.2, and then the path to the directory of where that extracted from. And let's give it the name of 16.13.2. And if you notice here, it's saying this directory is not a directory on the Jenkins controller, but perhaps it exists on some agents. And that's what we care about because this directory exists on that agent. I know that because I've already installed it on that agent. Let's go ahead and click on Save. And let's go modify our job to use 16.13.2. So I'll click on Configure. Let's change this to 16.13.2. Let's click on Save. Let's click on Build Now. Now, if we take a look at the output from 2, we can see here that Node is 16.13.2. And no installation step happened with 16 like it did with 17 because it was already installed on that agent. Now, finally, let's take a look at a different way to do an install automatically. Let's assume for a moment that you're not allowed to install directly from Node.js. In our very first step, we did the installation of 17 directly from nodejs.org. But within your organization, you have rules that you are only allowed to install from a binary repository or an FTP server or something that lives within your four walls. That's what this step is going to show you how to do. We'll go back over to Dashboard, Manage Jenkins, Global Tool Configuration. We'll go back down to Node.js, and I'm going to scroll to the bottom because much like there's an Add Node.js at the top, there's also a Add Node.js here at the bottom. So we'll just click that one. Either one is fine. They both do the same thing. And let's give it a name of 14.18.3. Now, for my example, I am going to remove this install from nodejs.org. So we'll click on Delete Installer. There we go. And we're going to add a new installer. And this new installer is going to be extract.zip star.tar.gz. And the first question it's going to ask is, what label do I want to apply this to? So the label on my agent is Linux. So in my case, I want to have this specific download that I'm getting ready to put in available for use on Linux. If I had a different agent like a Mac, I would give it a label that targeted my Mac, but I would also have to give it a different binary because the tar.gz for Darwin is not the same as the tar.gz for Linux. So in my case, my download URL for the binary archive. So I could be using a binary repository, a plain web server, whatever. In my case, I'm actually still going out to Node.js. I haven't downloaded this personally to show you for this example, but let's assume for a moment that this Node.js is actually just yourexample.com/whatever, wherever this binary lives. So that's there. But then we have to give it the subdirectory of the extracted archive. So this is where you would want to go ahead and double check in your zip file or your tar.gz and go ahead and download that early and extract it to see what that top level directory is. In this case, because I've already checked it, I know that the top level directory is node 14.18.3 Linux x64. So let's go ahead and click on Save, and let's watch what happens here. We'll go back over to our item that we already have. We'll click on Configure, and let's change our 16.13 to 14.18.3. And we'll run npm version again and see what happens. If we click on Build Now, this is very similar to what we saw with the very first run with 17. It downloaded the file from where we told it to. So in the case of install automatically from Node.js, it knew where to go. In that case, it was going to Node.js. In this version of extract.zip or tar.gz, I'm specifying where that file exists, where that zip file exists, or that tar.gz file exists. It's downloaded and then it's extracted into that same tools directory that we saw earlier, but with the name of 14.8.3. So in this case, when we scroll down and take a look at the output from npm version, we see that our node version is 14.18.3. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter at CloudBees. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.